are you truly alive if there's flies buzzing in and out of your mouth? Getting wheeled around? If you can't move your head, are you alive? What is alive?
Okay, there's a lot of people who have a lot of opinions about his death, but I really don't know much about his legacy.
I mean, the joke is that Biden's happy that he's no longer the worst president in the world.
So when did he? What day was it? How old was he? Like 100 and something?
He was 100. He was the first president to live to be 100 and the oldest president ever.
There you go. That's an accomplishment.
Yeah, I mean, even though, as I said, the last few years, I mean, was he truly alive?
I don't even know.
Yeah, he didn't look alive in his public appearances.
I mean,
like, supposedly he said he was overjoyed to vote Kamala.
So what is the biggest downfall of his legacy that people are like, I know for, what is it? Geopolitic. I know Israel hates this guy.
Yeah, geopolitics was a real sticky point with Jimmy Carter. He kind of passed himself off as I'm a down-home peanut farmer, and I just want to do the moral thing. He's kind of like a doddering church lady politically.
Okay.
What's the Christian moral thing to do here?
Okay.
Yeah, he is famous for the Abraham Accords. Which that's the agreement between Israel and Egypt that caused the creation of the West Bank and Gaza.
That's right.
That was Jimmy Carter's legacy, that Gaza exists.
Okay.
He also legitimized the Ayatollah in Iran.
That's what I heard.
Death
I heard
to
when
the
he
great
died.
Satan.
I heard when he died. I don't know if it was the Hamas group or one of the terrorist group. They're like, "Oh man, what a sad day."
Yeah, he legitimized the Ayatollah, who said America is the great Satan, Russia is the lesser Satan.
That's not good.
That's not good.
No.
There was the Iran hostage crisis.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, where the students stormed the embassy in Tehran. Yeah, basically they stormed the U.S. embassy in Tehran. They took 52, I believe, American/embassy workers hostage, and they held them for roughly a year or so.
Okay.
They organized a failed attempt to rescue them, which resulted in the death of, I believe, 8 service members. Helicopter crash. It was a real bungled operation. And then, as soon as Ronald Reagan got elected, second biggest landslide ever. First biggest landslide was when Ronald Reagan got reelected. That was how fed up with Jimmy Carter everybody was.
Okay.
Yeah, as soon as Ronald Reagan was inaugurated, like right after that day, all the hostages were released.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue that the Iranians knew that Daddy was home and he wasn't going to play that. Or there was also, they just wanted to make Carter look bad, and they released him after he was gone, so it's a black eye on him.
Oh no, I think it's the latter. There's no way. Yeah.
They knew Ronaldus Maximus was in town, and he wasn't going to play this.
I think it's the same way that Trump is threatened right now with the Hamas regime. He basically said, "You have until January the 20th. If you don't release those hostages, we're gonna have
we got an issue.
We're gonna."
So you don't want none of this.
I mean, it is true. These people respect strength. They like that's what they respect
power. They respect strength. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can see that.
Yeah. Domestically, Jimmy Carter was an equal mess.
Okay.
So in response to the Iran thing, there was another oil crisis in 1979. It wasn't as bad as the 73-74 one.
Mm-hmm.
I think with that one, there were a bunch of Iranian oil workers that walked off the job, and that caused a price spike. And I don't know, even though their contribution to like the global oil source was not that much then, a lot of people thought it was like a conspiracy or like a scam.
Okay.
Like, oh, there ain't no oil shortage here.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was still a lot of price spikes. So we were back to like gas lines, no gas. You can only buy gas on even days or odd days depending on like the first number of your license plate.
Whoa.
Yeah.
In America?
Yeah, I don't know if that was the 79 oil crisis, but that was definitely the 73, 74 one.
Okay.
Yeah, like, where you can only buy like $10 worth of gas at a time. Yeah, apparently that was also difficult for gas stations because pumps wouldn't sell gas in gallons over $1, so they had to like put a new reel on the, like for because gas used to be like under $1 then.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
I
so
see
they
what you're
couldn't,
saying, yeah.
like couldn't show the price per gallon accurately.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so Carter had like oil problems to deal with. Energy prices in general tended to be pretty high. It was a period of stagflation, high inflation with high unemployment. And there were also a lot of parallels between Jimmy Carter and Biden too, in regards to like oil or like energy thing.
Yeah.
Like energy prices were high pretty much his entire term, and his solution to that was to tell people to turn up the thermostat and wear a sweater.
That's hilarious.
He used to wear a sweater at the White House, to show solidarity. If you remember in 2021 when the oil prices spiked here, Mayor Pete of South Bend, who went on maternity leave for 3 months and nobody knew he was gone, he told everybody that if you don't like gas prices, just buy a Tesla. Much the way that Jimmy Carter said, if you don't like heating oil prices, just wear a sweater.
Okay.
And that was also a time when the nationwide speed limit was 55 miles an hour to save fuel.
Nationwide,
yeah, that was the 73 oil crisis, but yeah, that was a holdover at the time. Yeah, like the nationwide speed limit was 55.
And then obviously Americans were sick of all that nonsense.
Yeah, we were tired of that. Yeah.
They're like, what, get Reagan in there.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, one thing after the other with that guy.
What I mostly know is just like after he left the presidency.
Yeah, Habitat for Humanity.
Yeah, built a bunch of houses. He's always there.
Yeah.
Even old, can barely walk. He was still...
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I'm not going to attack the guy for volunteering for Habitat for Humanity, even if his appearances were just photo ops.
But I guess I just think it's funny how people are like, should we we shouldn't talk ill on the dead, but this guy.
I mean, it was the same thing when Gerald Ford died. Okay. I mean, when Gerald Ford was the president, like he took over after Nixon, right?
Mm-hmm.
After Nixon left in disgrace after the Watergate scandal.
Right.
I mean, the very best a scholar would say about Gerald Ford was he didn't fuck up at a time when he didn't need to fuck. Like, he needed to just play the bit, do the job acceptable, and like kind of bring some confidence back into the whole system.
Mm-hmm.
And he did that. He didn't really get much done. He, he was basically just a placeholder president. But, as soon as he died, I mean, if you would have watched the news, I mean, all these wonderful grand accomplishments of Gerald Ford. Meanwhile, most people who were alive then would be like, oh, yeah, I remember that guy.
That's true.
And plus, too, Jimmy Carter also had a very famous speech called the Crisis of Confidence speech, but it turned into the famous malaise speech, where it was talking about the inflation and the stagflation, and he basically said it's your fault.
To Americans?
Yeah,
no
more
way.
or less. Yeah, I mean,
no way.
There's a great malaise in this country.
it's your fault.
Yeah, basically, yeah, it's Americans' fault because we've lost confidence in the system, and there's just a general sluggishness about the country right now.
Well,
Inflation was like 20%, unemployment was like 10%. You're just not trying hard enough.
Yeah, they don't want to hear that. The American people do not want to hear you telling them you didn't try hard enough.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. So you basically, wear a sweater and it's your fault.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on. Rest in peace. Rest in peace to my guy,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, God bless him, Nobody tried harder, but he just didn't understand.
Okay. Well, speaking of telling Americans, what is it? They should work hard. Let's talk about your boy Elon Musk and is it Vic?
Vivek.
Vivek. Vivek about the H1b.
Yeah. There's no irony in an Indian advocating for more Indians to come to the U.S.
Okay, but he's not Indian. He's American.
He's of Indian heritage.
Okay, all right. It's like, all right. I don't think that neglects the fact that he's American. I mean, everybody's heritage from somewhere else.
That's true.
So anyway,
okay, yeah.
So Elon started the thing, but go ahead.
Yeah, so there's some nuance to this issue, right?
All right, go ahead.
So if we go simply at face value, like the tweet that kicked this off, right? It was when Elon said, like, we have a lack of talented and motivated individuals to be software engineers in this country, right? If you look at it simply on face value, like, that's a true statement. Like, our schools are lagging. Young people aren't interested in this. Like, that's a true statement. The problem for it comes is H1b the solution to this problem? I mean, and honestly, if you look at like what H1b is, how it was defined as created versus what it is today, I mean, like the two are nothing near each other. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I mean, like, initially it was designed as a short-term, I think for up to 6-year work visa permit for highly skilled technical people to fill hard to recruit for jobs. I mean, on that value, there's nothing wrong with that, right? I mean, like, nobody's really going to argue about if you actually have Werner von Braun, like, steal him from the Germans, right? Like,
right.
Nobody's really going to complain about that. But is that actually what is happening today now with the H1B visa program? Like, that's the real rub right now.
Okay.
I mean, rife with fraud, rife with abuse. Yeah, I mean, it needs a serious overhaul.
I don't think the visa is the main problem. The main problem is that it's our educational system.
Well,
I think that's the number one thing. It's pretty crazy to say that. Or first of all, America is an idea. This is not. People think about just the people, but mostly people come here for the ideas. Every country is not designed like America. America is literally designed to compete. It's the biggest open market in the world. Most people live in a country where there is no market. You know what I mean? There's nothing like it here. Like when it comes to just freely expressing the skill that you have, right? So countries who have particular skill that are good at it and they don't have the infrastructure in their country, they would want to come here. And if they don't come here, they would go to another country that can provide them these incentive as well. So if we want to keep being great and keep progressing and continue to be competitive in the market, why would we not want something like this in the first place? Why would we not want the best talent from around the world to come here and work for us?
Yeah.
I mean, we've been doing, that's literally what America is. America's literally something like, what is it? 50% of the billionaires, or, people who became billionaire or billionaire jobs, whatever, are like immigrants, like people who weren't born here but came here to prosper. I think it would be crazy to cripple ourselves and be like, this is not the solution, where this has been the main driver of our progress in the first place. Now, if you can say, what is it? The fact that we are not in the top 20 of math, we're not in the top 10 when it comes to STEM research. We have countries like China, India, the Germans. Everybody's ahead. Mexico is ahead. Oh my God, dude. Everybody is doing great. And we are encouraging our kids, or we create an environment where kids are more interested in psychology. Like just low-level job where it doesn't prepare them into the new world. At least the world that they want to be part of. And I think it was also funny that they were going off on, what's his name again? Vivek, when he said, it's not, and I 100% agree with him. He said, what is it? He said, it's not the people, it's the culture. You guys are creating a culture where you care about.
He said, like, you glorify the jock, not the nerd.
That's right. Yeah. And same with the parents too. You tell your kids, you can whatever you want, go to school, be whatever you want. It doesn't matter. We have same with the pop culture as well. Movies, TVs, everything about your culture tells you, do what you feel. You know what I mean? Not necessarily what is beneficial for you, but like, how do you feel? And it's the culture change. You're competing with people who are being beaten down and telling them like, no, I'll tell you what to be. You don't come to my house and tell me what you're going to be. I'll tell you what to be. Another one that people didn't really think about is like, again, culture again, is that specifically the Indians, if we just go to the Indians, this is also with the Nigerians as well. Basically, the immigrants are doing great in America that the Native Americans are having a problem with. Is the main strength they have is that they live in a 2-parent household. No one wants to point that out. I think something like the highest divorce is the black community, like 31% around there. And then the whites are like half of that, 15. The Indians are like barely 1%.
Yeah, I mean, there's financial incentive. You divorce, you lose the dowry.
It doesn't matter, but I'm saying that's a culture. It's still a culture. Together. It keeps them together, there's certain. I'm pointing all these out, and these are more of the flaw and have more impact on what's happening than saying that the solution is not VH1. What is it?
H1b.
H1b. You get what I'm saying? I mean, H1b is literally what we need. H1b. There's obviously some problems, like they're saying it's a lottery system. I think that's ridiculous. I mean, that's definitely a problem. And we shouldn't be looking at it from a lottery perspective. We should keep it a merit-based, okay? So when I hear these, the Republicans itself, somebody said the Democrats are having a great time right now because they can see the fraction that's happening in the what is it, MAGA culture. There's ones obviously racist as heck, and it's simply just the color. They're literally looking at nothing but the color. And then you have another side where they actually they're very capitalistic, and they see the benefit of these immigrants as well. I mean, aren't they even attacking Trump? Wasn't he at one point said he's not about it, and now he's saying he's 100% about it?
Yeah, I mean, Trump has come out and said that he does support the system. But, I mean, here's the thing, though, too. I mean, like, is the American education system in shambles? Yes. Jimmy Carter actually oversaw the creation of the Department of Education, by the way. And the Department of Energy.
I see.
Yeah, so you can thank Jimmy Carter for the Department of Education.
Oh, my God. The worst. One of the worst things that happened to America is the Department of Education.
Yeah.
If one thing Trump, if he does this, dude, he might get my, he'll get my praise for sure. Yeah.
You going to vote for him on the third term? No, but like, here's the thing though, right? So it's, the Elon Musk side of the argument is there's nobody wanting to do this work, right? But it's also a demand side equation too, because if you have an IQ of about 130, like, why would I get into IT knowing, like, I'm going to spend all this money on school, all this time, knowing that these Teslas, these Apples, these Fangs, right, the Magnificent Seven, they can fire me at any point for no fault of my own. And I mean, these aren't companies that just disappeared, right? I mean, it's not a layoff because the company closed. I mean, They literally walked you out the door and stuck an H1b in your place
Right.
through no fault of your own. Like, Disney fired 250 IT professionals in 2015,
Mm-hmm.
and not only did they replace them with H1Bs, they made them train their replacements, or else they wouldn't get a severance package.
Okay, but
Like,
again,
if you're smart enough to do that, you see this type of shit and you're like, this doesn't seem like a good deal for me. I'll go into finance and medicine instead.
well, that's the part of the culture again. What is it? We hear this in America, and we're like, why would I put myself in this position if I can see,
Yeah, so if that wasn't an option to be put in, like, if there was no H1B, like, wages would rise. Like, the Native Americans would do that. Like, I mean, this is indentured servitude. Like, this is absolutely indefensible. Like, these guys come over here and they're told, if you get fired, you're on the next boat back to Bombay. Like, they cannot leave the job. Like, they work them 60, 70, 80 hours a week. Like, I mean, they just, like, these guys, they can't complain. They're indentured servants.
I agree with that. Again, it's a competitive field.
Yeah, so Elon's saying, yeah, well, nobody wants to work hard. Like, Americans can work, like, go to the oil patch and tell me Americans don't work hard. Like, they just don't want to work 80 hours a week for you like that for what you want to pay.
Okay, so why would they be allowed to get people who actually want to be indentured slaves? Because these people do a lot to get here. Are you saying just because you were born in America, you should have this privilege?
I mean, I think as an American, we should have, labor protections. I mean, yeah, like, here's the thing. I mean, like, H1B suppresses wages, right? Yeah, like, it suppresses wages. I mean, H1B is publicly, like, you can look. Tesla's got like 400 H1B applications out right now. It's publicly available. It tells you like what job they're looking for, how much it pays, like all this, right? I mean, some of these jobs I saw today, they were like senior analyst in Palo Alto, California for like $130,000. Like, that's inadequate for Palo Alto, California. That's one of the most expensive zip codes in the country.
Right.
Right. And I don't know if that's actually what the actual H1B holder is paid or if that's what the agency gets paid. Because that's another dirty secret of this is like, he won't get a check from Tesla. He'll get a check from like Infosys or, whichever one of these H1B job shops actually hires him, right? Because, it costs like $10,000 or $20,000 to sponsor a visa. So most companies aren't going to want to do this. So they go through a third-party recruiter that, handles that for them.
Mm-hmm.
But, half of the wages get siphoned off by the agency.
Right.
So I mean, like, yeah, these people are underpaid, overworked, and they can't leave or complain because they're going to get shipped out if they get fired.
I agree with all that, but obviously they're doing that because the benefit outweighs all the stuff they're dealing with.
Yeah, the Indians deal with it because it beats the alternative.
Yeah, exactly.
But Americans can't compete with that because we think we should have time off.
Yeah, but these jobs, how many Indians are in here working for VH1? I mean, let's say the industry
they take 80,000 a year.
What is it? I'm saying the industry itself. How many do they employ?
I mean, I don't know how many are actually employed, but I mean, we take 80,000 a year, so that's 80,000 jobs Americans won't have.
Yes, but that's 80.
How large is the college graduating class? Like,
but that's like, okay, this is another, what is it?
Like, if we can absorb 80,000 H1Bs per year, are you telling me we can't absorb 80,000 U.S. college graduates per year?
Yeah, whether there's not one. What if there are not that many people who actually want to deal with this nonsense? Or maybe they don't qualify. Maybe there's this many people who don't qualify.
Well, that's the other lie we're being told. oh, these people are hardworking and smart. And if they're so hardworking and motivated and smart, why is India like it is? Why do the Chinese not want them?
Hold on. Is this again? Because India is again, they have so much roadblocks. Everybody knows their system is shit.
Why don't the Chinese take them? Chinese are more obsessed with winning than anybody. Like,
They
if
have
these
it.
truly were the best and brightest, why do the Chinese want nothing to do with them?
I mean, before the Indians, we had the Chinese to the point that they were like telling them not to go there. Well, they're doing everything they can to keep them in their country. I mean, they have what is it? Twice as STEM graduates as we do, and this is a billion people place.
Like, are
So
they
they're-
coming out of China itself, or are these like U.S. schools that CCP students go to, that the schools love because they get full rate out of state tuition?
No, I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you the graduation aspect of it. People who are interested in these fields are just a lot higher in this country. So you're saying why do the Indians go over there? Because they're not needed over there. Because they have their own. And I'm saying the reason why they come here is because it seems like we need them here. And the work that needs to be done are not being done. You can say it's labor intense, but they found people who are saying this is right because they're competing a country like China, who they don't care about all these worker rights that you're talking about. It's a competition. So yes, it would be. Are you willing to sacrifice the progress, like letting basically China overtake us in these fields, so just Americans can catch up?
Okay, what do I have to give up for America to win?
But I think winning against China looks like not having to
Like
not
the
having to
rare earth
negotiate.
metals?
Well, not just that, having access to the world. Let's just say like the sea aspect of it. The fact that they're using their money or progress, or where are they beating us? They're using those dividends on investing strategical places like Africa is one, Middle East is another one. What is it now with South America? They're going in South America hard. You know what I mean? So what happens if it's China? If we say, you know what, forget that. We don't want to beat China. We don't want to play the game. We just want to stick with ourselves. First of all, we lose the sea. We literally are in control of the sea. The way everything moves, America is still the main hub for that. So if we lose that, we basically lose connection to the world, and we slowly don't become the first world power. Would you willing to let China dictate how the world should be run compared to how America right now is dictating how the world should run?
Look,
do you want the the new generation to have China ideas or have an American ideas?
They already have Chinese ideas. Like, look at all these simps that came out in opposition of a TikTok ban. Like, China already owns your hearts and minds.
Well, I mean, I think they're all. I think most of these people are looking simply for their pocket. They're making a lot of money off.
That's
TikTok.
what I'm saying. Yeah, they make a lot of money off TikTok. Like, but that's the problem with America. Like, China's more than happy to sell us the rope that we hung ourselves with.
Yes.
And we're more than happy enough to buy it. And not only that, we're more than happy enough to have these simp motherfuckers here that defend China because they think, if we kowtow to China, we're going to get some crumbs from their plate.
Yes, but that's my point.
That's what's wrong with the system.
But that would increase. That's just right now. But I'm saying it will just keep increasing. Don't you feel glad that you speak English and you can go to most countries and not even worry about speaking any other language? Just speak English, and you're like, why don't you go to people's country and be like, why don't you speak English, huh?
Well, I'm thankful to the British for that.
Yes, but we took over. There's no more British. It's American now. It's American.
The fact of the matter is, though,
Go ahead.
like, the U.S. military and the U.S. Navy, especially the U.S. Navy, is larger than any other country's navies all combined still.
Mm-hmm.
Like, nobody has the ability to project force like we do. Like, China cannot do that. They don't have a blue water navy yet.
Yeah, that's right.
Every time they try, the boats sink. Or they find out that somebody sold the fuel. Or it's a ship made out of foam that was made to fool our satellites, right?
That's right.
Like, look, these people are not a military threat yet. They're trying to be.
Uh-huh.
But, like, They can't even take Taiwan, and that's 130 miles off the ocean.
Yet.
Yeah.
All these are yet. Okay, these
That's
are not like.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But can China steal enough technology? Can they build enough technology to get that done before they absolutely collapse? Right? Like, China is actively imploding right now. Nobody, like even Xi himself, does not know how bad it truly is.
That is so true.
Like, there is no such thing as a truthful, accurate, factual number coming out of China.
I agree.
Like, there's an actual debate that their population is currently under 1 billion people because they bungled the census that bad and their numbers are that fake.
Yeah.
Like, it was commonly accepted that there were 1.4 billion of them now, and now we're saying, well, it might actually be under 1 billion.
Yeah, like 800 million.
Yeah, 800. There might be only 800 million Chinese in the world.
Yeah.
Where a few short years ago, it was accepted as fact that there were 1.4 billion of them. Like, yeah, I mean, truthfully, like, China does not have muscle to flex on the military side, right? The fact that they're a nuclear power notwithstanding.
Right.
I mean, yeah, that's the, like, you know.
Again.
Well, we've got to beat China economically or they're going to control the world's shipping lanes. Like, no, if we wanted to send an aircraft carrier into the shipping lanes, China can do fuck all about it.
Right. So I'm saying that's now, you know. As you're saying, they're slowly are becoming friends with Venezuela, freaking Brazil, what is it? What was the other one? Russia. I'm saying you're only looking at it from now perspective, and now they might not be good enough. But they're producing stuff so much quicker than we are when it comes to just weapons in general, or just like ships, making submarines, whatever. The quality might be terrible, but for how long is it going to be terrible?
If a submarine sinks as soon as it launched, do they have a submarine?
No, again, for how long is the thing?
But
if we keep
the race though. Like,
yeah, I agree.
Is China going to implode, or are they going to suddenly get rid of their crooked system that brought them to this place?
Yeah, but why risk that? Why would you even want that to So a lot of people who will have my point of view on this thing is like, I don't even want to see a world where China has any kind of muscles to flex on us. That would be hell, in my opinion. It'd be hell to have us go or even lose our allies, the people we have, to them, to where if we want something to happen, well, let me call China. Are China going to be okay with this? You know what I mean? We shouldn't have any of that happening. Like, America should still be the world leader on absolutely everything. And the idea of China leading any aspect of that in our world is just detrimental to the human race. Like, I don't take their progress any lightly.
And so we've got to turn into that to prevent it from happening?
But we're not turning into that. So again, it would be different if we were turning into this. I'm just hearing people who complain about DUI who want DUI for themselves. That's all I hear. The one thing that we should turn like China is the educational aspect of it.
The top colleges in the world are all in the U.S., though. Nobody else has Harvard. Nobody has MIT. Like, I mean, the U.S. leads the world in colleges by a wide margin.
Right. But again, it's because they're in America. It's right now.
Although, to be fair, a lot of those top colleges are filled with CCP students, though.
That was such a good point you made. It's just like the reason why they're still at the top is that they're bringing in the most educated people around the world still come here. And they don't just come here for the college. They come here because of the ideas of America. The fact that they don't have the avenues that we have here, that, the guardrails are not here. There's too many guardrails in their country. There's less freedom in their country. So they come here for that.
America was at the top when unions were still more prevalent. I mean, like...
You think... Whoa. I would disagree. You don't think unions are more prevalent now than back then?
No, unions are way less prevalent now than they were historically. There's way less union members today than they have been historically. Like, we're at the end of a long chain of union busting right now. In the United States, the year with the highest percentage of workers in a union was 1954, when the density reached almost 35%. So that means in 1954, 35% of Americans belonged to a labor union. And 2023, the union membership rate is 10%, which is down from 10.1% in 2022.
Damn. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, so this is the end of a long chain of union busting.
Okay.
Like 1954 was about when America was the most prosperous it had ever been. I mean, we were riding the absolute crest of the wave then.
Yeah, but is that just union, or is that the fact that the world was just not competing against us?
Yeah, the world hasn't been rebuilt at that point yet.
Yeah, so again, a world where everybody is like has access to most things we have access to.
Yeah, I mean, if
it's
it comes down
world.
to start World War III or live like Indians, I would prefer to see World War III get kicked off.
No one's asking to live like Indians, but I'm saying we should have, we should educate our kids to the level of the Indians. That's what these people are. That's what they're saying, and I 100% agree.
Here's the other rhetorical about that. Like, what is actually what does education mean, right? Because like Chinese, their system, Japanese too, their system is extremely good at rote memorization, right?
Okay.
I mean, their system does not emphasize independent thought, independent action, free thinking. Like, Chinese will not correct a mistake. Chinese will not admit to a mistake. I mean, if it comes to, like if you're asking like their education system creates, they create drones who can sit there and recite facts and figures, but our system is better for creative thought, independent action. Like everything China has, they stole from somebody else. Like they can't have independent thoughts. That's not their system. That's not their culture. They don't invent things. They steal it from somebody else. Corporate espionage is, how many corporate spies are feeding data to the CCP and all of our educational institutions and our defense industry. So yeah, they score better on standardized tests than we do, but they can't think of anything on their own. Who's truly more educated?
Well, it depends on the field we're talking about.
See, that's what I'm saying.
So this field that we're talking about, it's mathematics, it's STEM research, biology. We're talking about a high level, basically careers are growing in the future. Isn't that what we were talking? When it comes to, if you send your kids to school, don't you want them to have skills that would work for them in the future?
Well, if I was going to send my children to school, I wouldn't send them to something that an H1b is going to steal their job or an illegal immigrant. So that rules out IT and the trades.
I would disagree.
How do you compete with those?
How do you compete with those? You compete by competing with them. It's five.
How do you compete?
Again, the job market.
So
hold on. So the job
work for less money. That's competing with them.
I'm not gonna say work for less money, but I'm saying the job market.
How do you compete with them?
What?
The system doesn't care about. The system cares about how much you cost.
Yeah, but the people who are complaining about this are not people who are who qualify for this industry.
Like the people.
I'm hearing people who are not
jobs. The people who hand out the jobs, all you are to them is a number on a line.
But that's
a lower number is better. So the only way to get a job is to work for less.
Okay, so I'm just saying this is where the trade-off comes in. These future jobs, they might be heavy labor right now. And if you don't want to send your kid in that direction, why are you complaining about other people sending their kids in that direction?
I mean,
so what I'm saying is,
we have to have reform. Like we have to reform this system. Like it'll work itself out. We just have to reform this.
How would you reform it? Without having to introduce DUI here. How is this different? How is this different than the reason why the blacks brought in the DUI? For the years, people were saying there's just not enough qualified blacks in these positions. So they're just, what do you want us to do? And then what they brought this in? They forced these unqualified people in these positions simply because they're black, just to even up the number. And then what happened?
Well,
did that work out?
Well, the question I would pose to that is, are these H1b holders actually qualified? Because anybody who's got any experience with them will say that like fake credentials, fake diplomas. There's a lot of diploma mills in India. Like a lot of their educational background is embellished or faked. A lot of the interviews that recruiters do, I mean, there's a lot of ringers where it's like one person does the interview and another one shows up. Somebody on TikTok was talking about they found one H1b. He was supposed to be coding, but he was using a VPN, and somebody from India was actually writing the code for him that he was passing off as his own.
Okay, I would say what percentage?
So how qualified are these people?
Okay,
if you're saying we need qualified people, yeah, that's not an argument to make. We need qualified people. Are these qualified people, though?
Okay, do you know the number? How many of them are faking this?
I mean, most people with experience with them will say that 1 out of 10 is legitimately a rock star, and 9 out of 10 are legitimately rocks.
That would be insane. That's a lie. Because if the number was that high, you don't. Then how come the people who own these companies, wouldn't they not have a problem with it? Wouldn't their production show if they're that fake of that? That's a huge number.
Because they're cheaper. Like,
I highly doubt just because they're cheap. I mean, you saying your quality doesn't come into play? Couldn't you they say the same thing about the DUI situation as well?
Well, by the time you bring in the H1Bs, I mean, most of it's already been built, and they just need to maintain it, which is a lot easier than, building the systems from scratch. Like, it's a lot easier to maintain a cell phone app that's already running versus building one from the ground up.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying if the number was, as you're saying, 9 to 1, that's an insane number. I'm saying if it was that high, I don't think Elon Musk, these big corporate people, would be defending the system in any way. It would harm them more than it would progress them, regardless of how much money we're saving.
Yeah, we're not saying these aren't people who can't function at the job at all. I mean, I'm just saying that, like...
But I think that these jobs are more than just functioning. I think you have to be at least... I wouldn't be able to survive these jobs, even if I had somebody over my head or something telling me, like, to do this and this and that. Okay. Eventually, there's no way.
I mean... Anybody with any experience with H1Bs will, like, it seems to be a universal experience. So, like, a lot of them, there's like a big competency crisis among them.
But again, there are only half a million of them in the workforce in the first place. So this is like 500,000 people.
But that's 500,000 jobs that should go to American kids. Statistically, 78% of H1B holders are Indian.
Right.
78%. Next is China with 12%. Third place is Philippines with 1%. And of those 80% Indians, 80% are men. So it's basically all Indian men.
No, I understand that, but I'm saying out of 300
ropers.
So we're basically that still has nothing to do with their job.
Is that the culture we need here? Like people who grope women on the train?
No, but we also wait. Again, I think there's every culture brings in certain things. I think we do need their work ethic. Yes, I think their work ethic is one thing we do need to adopt. I would agree with that for these professions. I mean, 100%.
Sitting at a desk for 80 hours to get done what an American gets done in 40 is not work ethic. Like that's what other people with experience with them says too. I mean, a lot of their work has to be gone over and corrected by Americans. I mean, like, Americans can get it done right the first time, but Indians cost half as much. So they go, like, I mean, this is really all just corporate accounting, like, line item stuff. I mean, like,
Well, why don't these people leave these jobs? If they're being told, you should revise this guy and whatever, and having to check this guy's work, why don't you leave that job?
Where are they going to go?
What? Wherever. If you're not satisfied with the job, go get another job.
I mean...
Why are we trying to force companies to hire people they don't want to hire?
I mean, that's, that comes back to the whole debate of, like, why have workers' protections? Like, why have a minimum wage? Why have, like... These companies are just going to run wild on people if you don't have some kind of guardrails for, like... Literally, we would go back to the Gilded Age if it weren't for, like, some kind of
Yeah, but
workers'
solution. Okay, but I'm
protections.
saying the solution for these things always backfires. The solution is rarely the cure. So like for the solution to this, you're saying is what? Okay, what do you think the solution is? Stop, cancel VA1, get VH1 completely, and then what? Like force these companies to hire Americans?
Yeah, I mean, this is a difficult spot because the solution to a government problem generally isn't more government.
Right.
Like, more government doesn't solve government induced problems.
Yes.
Um, I mean, really, honestly, the best way we could do this would be the best way to fix this would be like turning it into merit based, and also I mean, there has to be some sort of like pay protection too, or something. Like, if you take away the incentive to just pay them less, they become less attractive. I mean, like, yeah, they're yeah. I mean, really, we just have to take away the incentive to pay them less. I mean, that's the only attractive thing about it. They'll work 80 hours a week and they'll work for less. Like, yeah, like those incentives have to be taken away.
I'm just always worried when people try to cap how less or how more they should pay people, because that usually never works out very well.
There tend to be unintended consequences to that.
Yeah, so I think we should do something that we can.
Like Great Depression wage scales had the unintended consequence of creating the modern health insurance system. So I mean, yeah, that's not, because during the Great Depression there were wage controls. That was a FDR New Deal thing, and in order to attract top talent, benefit packages became way more prevalent. One of the benefit packages they introduced was health insurance that was tied to a job. So that's where we got.
And that's
here.
terrible. And that was terrible.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, there are unintended consequences.
And again, when you say, we don't live in a capitalist system, it's these things. We get mad about something like this, and then we put a guardrail. So this is a guardrail right here that we will not realize the consequences of it maybe another 10 years. And then another problem will come arise because of this, another guardrail. It's
yeah, I mean,
I just don't think those are the solution at all.
Yeah, like the solutions are going to be tough, but I mean, clearly the answer to America winning or America succeeding is not to flood America with people who work for peanuts, because it's comparatively a lot of money for them. Like, I don't see how that's good for Americans or the American system.
I guess, but
like, our wages don't need to be suppressed any more than they already are. Like,
again,
like the average young person now thinks the world is just completely dystopian. I mean, like, you expect somebody to want to have a family or a future when like Domino's Pizza is a splurge they can't afford, despite working 2 jobs?
But again, all that happened not because the capitalist system, is because your government said something you liked and people voted for that stuff. It's, again, I mean, the inflation. I mean, one of the biggest is the inflation, right? What was it because of that?
Well, now we're coming back into the old right and new right thing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Again, I don't want that. We're pointing at the market instead of pointing at the people who put in guardrails, with the kind of guardrails they put in the market. And we put on these guardrails because we have moments like these, we freak out and we come with ideas that have not been tested, and we just put in. It's like, what is it? These government people who have never worked a day in their life, you asking them to make laws about the market, how to make money or how to not make money. Who cares about their opinion about this?
I mean,
and even most people in America as well.
They understand how the stock market works. They never pick a loser.
That's a different story. That's not business.
I mean, they seem to have some sort of acumen.
Yeah, no one is
picking stocks.
Inside trading.
Inside trading is the easiest thing in the world when you're the insider.
Exactly. But yeah, I just think I think the stuff we can control when it comes to this, the first thing would be our education and how we culturally think. But you're basically saying we shouldn't change that aspect of it.
No, the education system absolutely sucks. But I mean, fixing the education system doesn't correct the fact that smart people can think about things that stupid people won't, right? I mean, yeah, if you fix the education system, that still wouldn't take care of the demand side incentive part of it too, because it's like, if it's still possible for these people to come in and just completely cut you out of a job, why would a smart person go into that? They would think about this. They would say, I don't want to be one of those guys at Disney who got fired for no reason and only to have a bunch of H1b stuck in my place.
I
if
disagree.
Disney folded up.
I'll tell you, I disagree. The reason why I disagree was like it's a teacher thing. I mean, no people complain about being a teacher all the time, but then we have flood of teachers we have people going to school for being a teacher than most things. But
yeah, we don't need more teachers.
Exactly. But so I'm saying is that we don't have. I generally don't think we have enough people qualify for these positions. Yes, there might be some muddy stuff going on. Everything you said, there might be going on, but that's never not going to go on. There's going to be part of the whatever industry that is where this shady stuff goes on.
Yeah, layoffs are a part of life, right? I mean, we're not talking about layoffs.
Not even the layoff, like companies taking advantage of their workers. Companies, who, like the Disney situation, who would get other people
literally
to train.
Fire you to bring somebody else in who's cheaper.
Yes, but that's again,
like, that's not a layoff. Like a layoff is if the company just dies. Like if Disney just went bankrupt, I mean, that's different. Like tech always has boom and bust cycles, right? Tech's like the oil field, right? Like the oil field always goes up and down. I mean, the fact that you're exposed to layoffs doesn't, these aren't layoffs. These are purposeful replacements.
I agree. So I'm saying that will never not happen.
Yeah,
that is embedded in the capitalist system.
Yeah, and again,
go ahead.
No, I mean, and again, as a member of the new right, I mean, when you see these companies that, they eke out a couple more percents, a little bit bigger bonus by, replacing your workers with H1Bs or stealing time or not paying overtime, like eke out just 1% more, squeeze just a little more blood from the stone. Like they need their wings clipped. I mean, if that's how you have to run a business,
again,
like
okay, so that's what I'm saying.
Skirting the laws, like you need to be regulated.
But no, see, that's where the problem starts. Where people say you need to be regulated. Now, how to regulate it? That's when all the stuff goes bad. I think the market will regulate itself.
I mean,
there's going to be enough time where people are going to get sick of these actions. It will be like, the guy who his whole workforce just walked away from his job. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, as long as we have people who are hungry and desperate, like that's not likely to be the case, though.
Okay, but
like
the quality. Hold on. But the quality will go down, would it not? If the best people are, that's literally every industry.
A lot of them don't hire the best people. A lot of them hire people who exist. Like Dollar General.
Oh, I disagree. Well, Donald General, you can't compare Donald General to.
I mean, we're not talking. I mean, we're not dipping from the same well here, but the concept is the same. I mean, Dollar General. I mean, their entire business model. They get caught stealing time all the time. Overtime is a dirty word in Dollar General. They're not allowed to work overtime. They deliberately understaff the stores. I mean, understaffing the stores, that's one thing. Not, making sure the managers are aware of everyone's time so they don't go over. That's okay too. I mean, that's slightly unethical, but it's not egregious. But I mean, when they get caught actually shaving time off people, I mean, that's wage theft. I mean, but they got away with it for a lot of years and nobody complained.
Okay, if no one's complaining, then why you have a problem with it? If the people who are getting affected don't complain, why are we being offended for those people?
So I can steal from you, and if you don't notice, that's okay? You didn't complain about it. Like, that's actual theft. Like,
yeah.
If you're at work and you're not being paid and you think you're on the clock, but you're truly not, like...
So are you saying that so if you know about this information, you're saying the people the workers don't know about this information?
No, I mean, like, there's been lawsuits about it.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. But if people are still continue to be in that system, knowing what the system is like, what are you going to do? Why are you trying to make choices for people who don't want to change?
Into, like, rural areas that have, like, already been decimated by, decades of union busting and loss of industry.
I agree.
Like, these are poor communities. Like, Dollar General only goes into poor communities.
Okay. I mean, they know their market then.
Yeah, I mean, that is their market, and I mean, they do serve a purpose. But they all, like, these are poor people who don't have other economic opportunities. We all need to row the boat.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's move on to the terrorist attack in, well, what is it? New Orleans.
New Orleans?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
You know,
Where to even start? Have you seen the old woman that's the chief of New Orleans police?
yeah.
That 80-year-old woman who used to be the police chief in Oakland, California, but who was fired.
Wait, what?
Yeah, she used to be the chief of police in Oakland, California. She
Okay,
was
I didn't know
fired.
that. I didn't know that.
She
Okay.
sued the city for $1.5 million and won.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
She's a millionaire?
Yeah, she won a $1.5 million judgment against Oakland for firing her.
What did they fire her?
That I didn't. Yeah, I don't know what the circumstances around it were, but
You're
yeah,
joking.
she was previously, I don't know if the title was chief of police, but yeah, she was the head of the police of Oakland.
Okay, continue.
And was fired and sued the city over it.
Nice. Okay.
And she's currently in hot water too for hitting 2 pedestrians with her car in August.
Oh, stop.
So, I mean, this is a good segue into the competency crisis.
Yo. Wait.
I don't know if that was like during official capacity, but yeah, she's currently under investigation for running into 2 people in her car.
You're joking.
No.
This is a simulation, bro. This is absolutely insane. You
And she
cannot
wears
make
that
this
hat
up.
that's like 3 sizes too big. She's like, I'm police now.
You cannot make this up. I just want to get this straight. She got fired from California.
Yes, Oakland.
One of the worst.
Yeah,
one of the
biggest
worst
shitholes in the world.
And then she sued them for getting fired.
Yeah, for firing me.
They gave her the money. She won.
Yeah, she won the judgment.
New Orleans was like, "Hey,
you got the right stuff.
Come on over here."
You trying to work?
So she came over here.
Yeah, she's now the chief of police in New Orleans.
And
she ran into 2 people in her car.
And now she's doing press conference.
I think one was sent to the hospital.
You're absolutely joking.
I think one was hospitalized over it.
I cannot. So, and now she's doing a press conference.
Yeah, now Jesus' mother is up there giving press conferences.
Okay, go ahead.
So, these are the top men on the case in New Orleans.
Oh my God. Okay. Oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah, so that's a little bit of history about her.
The irony is absolutely insane.
Grandma Moses. Literally, she's got to be at least 80.
Dude. So
God bless her for still working.
Okay, all right. Oh my God, I did not know that backstory. That is a wild story.
Yeah,
okay.
she's kind of a wild girl.
Oh, grandma's out. Okay, go ahead.
Grandma's out here with that hat that's way too big.
But go ahead.
Yeah, so apparently it was 3:15 in the morning. The guy drove into Bourbon Street, killed 15 people, I believe, at this point. 30 more were injured. And got out of the car, exchanged fire with police.
As you do.
Yeah, the truck had a bunch of like IEDs in it and stuff. He had a trailer hitch mounted flag, and it turned out to be the ISIS flag.
Yep.
I mean, I don't even know what the fuck the FBI's even doing down there.
Why do they cover it?
I mean, first off, they had the agent in charge, who appeared to be a 22-year-old girl with a nose ring.
Okay, all right.
Well, that's important because that's against grooming standards for the FBI.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, you're not supposed to have facial jewelry.
Oh, okay.
So, for whatever reason, she got the slide on that.
I wonder why.
Yeah, so having a 22-year-old be the agent in charge with a nose ring doesn't inspire confidence.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also interesting that the police chief and the mayor of New Orleans both immediately got up and said, this is a terrorist act.
That's right, yeah.
The FBI was photographing the ISIS flag, blurred it out, and the agent in charge said, let's not rush to conclusions here. We don't know for sure this is a terrorist plot. Like, this guy was in the U.S. Army for a lot of years. Like, wasn't he born in Saudi? Like, wasn't he Saudi born? He might have been born here. This time.
Yeah, I think he's a born Texas kid.
Yeah, I mean, how is it that an ISIS sleeper cell? Bourbon Street also has raisable hydraulic steel plates that like are supposed to stop vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
They're supposed to be deployed from like 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. That night they were not deployed. So there's questions, controversy around this. Why were the gates not raised?
Well, I mean, their argument was that they had cops' car covering it, and this wouldn't help at all because he went on the side. What is it? The sidewalk. That's how he went around it. So even if that was there, he would have just went out on the sidewalk.
It's still a bad look that they didn't even try to raise the gates that night, though.
It is a bad look, yeah.
That's still a horror, especially since every other night they're up.
Yeah.
Why this night they were down? We don't know.
Okay.
But I mean, like, it's also like a broader question, too. It's like, how is an ISIS sleeper cell allowed to operate inside the U.S., right? With, like, the FBI and all that, like, the guy didn't act alone. They never act alone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a network here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, John Kennedy, the senator from Louisiana, he gave that press conference yesterday or the day it happened, and he's like, we expect full transparency from the FBI, which automatically means he's assuming they're up to something.
Okay.
Covering it up or not telling us the truth about it or something,
Okay.
I mean, but I think it also just speaks to like a larger loss of confidence with the FBI. I mean, the FBI is a hack job now,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, here's this guy flying the ISIS flag, and they're, desperately trying to gaslight us into not believing this is a terrorist act.
Right. Yeah, this terrorist situation is also strange because I don't know if it was the same night, but you heard the shooting that happened in New York.
I heard a little bit
Queens,
about
Jamaica.
Well, that seems to be like the old nightclub in downtown St. Louis. There had been previous issues at that before.
Well, no, this was a private event, and they were having a more for somebody died, and this was like a retaliation or something like that.
Yeah.
And
yeah, that one struck me as a gang problem.
Yes, but my point with a terrorist situation is like, what is the definition of a terrorism?
My definition is a guy with an ISIS flag that drives into a crowd of people. That's a terrorist, but not according to the FBI.
No, the definition of a terrorist in general is that someone who's causing a mass casualty in a peaceful place. It could be war. It could be just like any event, and basically you just go and cause terror.
Yeah.
So I
mean, that's the
people
standard. Yeah, that's the standard definition, but not the new definition.
Right. Again, even the new definition. Some people only look at it like if it's political, if it's done in political view, that's when they call it terrorist.
Yeah.
But I mean, all of it is terrorist. Like, I mean, so this nightclub event situation is the same way. Is that these people were in an event mourning somebody, and these 4 guys came and just shot the whole crowd. 90 people were at that event and just shot through them, and 10 people were like injured. Is that not how come no one's even?
No, that's an act of domestic terrorism, absolutely.
But again, they don't. The chief himself, I don't know if he's the chief or whatever, but I guess they have. I don't know how many chiefs does New York have?
Oh, I mean, New York loves having people in bullshit jobs. I mean, like, everybody's a commissioner. Everybody's, commissioner. They love commissioners.
There you go. Yeah.
Like, they probably got, I mean, the sanitation commissioner. I mean, like, I watched a documentary on like the New York City trash department, right?
Mm-hmm.
They had like the sanitation commissioner at the refuse transfer station, and he's wearing like he looks like Tito. I mean, he's got like a communist era military coat on and a hat and medals on it and stuff, and all he does is stand there and watch dump trucks dump trash into a bin. But that's the commissioner, so he feels important, so yeah, New York loves commissioners.
Yeah, but anyways, he was like
police commissioner.
Yeah, so they asked him specifically, "Hey, is this a terrorist attack?" And he's like, "No, this is not a terrorist attack at all." And I'm like, "All right, bro, whatever." But going back to the New Orleans guy.
Yeah, I mean, and the news media is twisting itself into knots to use the term like a truck drove into the crowd, or a white truck plowed into the crowd. Like the F-150 just did it all on his own. Like, it ain't like Tesla. It don't drive itself.
Someone's in there.
Yeah, someone's in it. But yeah, they're not mentioning that. I mean, it's just like, oh, well, a truck drove, a runaway truck.
Mm-hmm.
Like this was a freak accident.
Mm-hmm.
Not a member of an ISIS sleeper cell that slipped through the cracks. Because you were too busy going after like old women in the Capitol on January 6th.
They were like talking about he was in, you seen his YouTube video, the
Which
real
one?
estate one, where he's like, "Hey, my name is
No.
and this is my real estate company, whatever."
Oh, he was a real estate agent.
He was a real estate
So now I really
investor.
hate him. Oh, now I really hate him.
Yeah, and he was like, they were saying he was down like he was in debt, hardcore debt, and just last year I think they lost like 30,000 or something like that.
Shit, welcome to the club. Everybody's in debt.
And what is it? He said he has 2 broken marriages. He's coming from 2 broken marriages. And
it's me. Hi. I'm the problem. It's me.
Oh my god. But, so this could be somebody who's just like, he was gone. He was not coming back. And he was like, I need to find a casualty somehow, But the ISIS part is very interesting. I really want to hear the connection of how he even got into ISIS.
I mean, he could be an FBI patsy too.
I'm not even gonna touch that. I know there's what is it? The truck also that imploded, the cyber truck that imploded Trump's. Is that what was it?
Yeah, the Trump Tower in Vegas.
Yeah, and they're trying to connect these two together. People say like
they served in the army together.
Oh my god, people have all these theories. Yeah.
But it's like, the Cybertruck was like filled with propane cylinders and like fireworks and stuff. And then Elon's like, this is a testament to the good engineering of H1bs in the Cybertruck. You see how the implosion was contained within the Cybertruck and it went up instead of outward.
Oh, someone died. One person died.
But, I mean, Elon still used it as an opportunity to stroke his own wee-wee about how, superior the Cybertruck is because it contained the explosion.
I haven't heard nothing but negative about these Cybertrucks. Like, I'm not hearing anything good news about them.
Yeah, I mean...
But anyway, it's just
crazy that the son of a bitch actually pulled it off.
Yeah.
Like, they suck, but it's a reality. They exist.
Yeah,
the crazy bastard actually pulled it off.
I would have to agree.
I'll give him credit for that. Like, the execution's horrible. The door gaps, they suck. They're ugly. But he pulled it off.
He did it. I see them everywhere.
Don't bet against Elon.
Yeah. So, what is it? Yeah, I saw the video. It was absolutely a horror. Like, he just demolished those people into the ground. I even seen one girl like was just shocked stare. Imagine like your boy just got crushed and she was just standing there like she just looked blank faced. Like that just happened.
Fight, flight, or freeze.
It was horrendous. But
did you see the other video from the other side where it was like a group of black people walking? They were like crossing the street, and I guess when it happened, and they just looked and they were like, "Huh," and then just kept walking.
They just kept walking.
Yeah.
No, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, that was the one that was all over CBS.
Yeah, but it's just crazy. I mean, and then did you hear that other story where this is all happening in New Year's Day, but
Just stay inside. New Year's is no good. Stay home.
yeah. But what is it? This 23-year-old kid at the again subway, New York subway.
Kathy Hochul assured me that the subway has never been safer. I've been assured.
Yeah, this 22-year-old kid, he just pushed a 42-year-old man in front of waiting for the train, and then just pushed him.
There's historical precedence to that. Yeah,
that's crazy.
I would love.
This is all happening like this short amount of. It's just crazy how it's like they're trying to outdo each other.
Yeah. I would love to say I lived in a world where people getting pushed to death in front of the subway was uncommon, but unfortunately it's somewhat common.
Oof.
It happens. I wouldn't go so far as to say often, but it's not rare either.
Yeah, so I mean, as much as we know this guy's, I think people are just like, I'm waiting for the connection with the ISIS. That's what I want to see. Like, first off, is he a Muslim? I mean, it's
with a name like Abdul Jabbar.
Okay, he is Muslim. Yeah, he's probably.
Yeah, I
Muslim.
mean his name was like, I forget what his name was, but I mean it's like
something like that.
Yeah, like Jafar, Mashallah, Sadiq. Like.
Oh my god. But yeah, I would love to see the ISIS ideology, where it started or whatever. But again, I don't know how this is good. I don't think this is good for. Have you been hearing all these videos you've seen of like Muslims going protesting against Christmas, against New Year's Eve?
Oh yeah, the day it happened, there was a massive pro-Hamas rally in New York City.
How is this? Do they think this is helpful to their cause?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look good for the hearts and minds aspect.
Like, it just doesn't. I saw one. I mean, first off, they started off with. I mean, they started strong in December with Germany, the Germany situation.
Yep.
So they did one in Germany. They did one in England. And now they did one here. And now, I mean, even the New Year's Eve, maybe it was Sweden. Sweden, they let this happen. So
Sweden likes this.
Yeah, I think it was like in front of a bunch of people, and everybody's like singing Christmas song, and this guy's like, let me put a verse of a Quran in there. And he just goes in the middle and just start reading verse of the Quran. And I'm just like, what are you doing? How is this helpful to your cause in any way?
I mean,
the boldness is just it's blowing my mind at this point.
Yeah, honestly, if I wanted to troll people, I would like go to Christmas caroling too, and just like with a massive bullhorn and just like recite the call to prayer.
I gotta show you this video.
Just like sing the call to prayer.
It's just getting out of hand. It's getting out of hand, and I'm just saying, I've said this like before the migration started in Europe, or whatever, like during the COVID, and I was saying that like the world is finally learning about Islam, like the religion, the people, and the ideas they have and whatnot.
Oh, speaking of Islam, apparently the mosque the truck driver used to go to put out a statement urging the membership not to cooperate with the police.
Oh, that's not good. What? What is the explanation? That just don't.
Yeah, I didn't really read it too close, but yeah, it's a reminder to not cooperate with the police.
How is that helpful?
Although I will say, historically speaking, and I'm not saying this is the case right now. I don't like conspiracies, but if the fact that the FBI already knew the guy's name, that probably means he's an FBI asset. They only seem to be able to solve crimes that they start.
Oh yeah, what you were talking about?
Yeah, like the FBI does not have a good track record on organic crime.
Mm-hmm.
Like crime that they did not set up. They tend to get stumped on. It turns into a cold case if they don't have a lead they created. So the fact that we've already got his name and where he lives and his whole history tells us he might be a patsy. Like those guys who were going to kidnap Gretchen Whitmer. 10 out of the 12 were FBI plants.
No, that one was pretty wild. But I think
I mean, that's the FBI.
But I think this is too big. This is too big.
Yeah, look, I'm not saying that he's definitely their guy, but I mean, the fact that they know so much about him already leads me to believe that he might be their guy because this is the playbook.
Well, it could be that what is it? He was on the list, like he was, it's just like someone, with the gun law problem situation where people are like, you see something, say something kind of thing. Well, I can see something, I can say something, but until he doesn't react to it, there's nothing you can do.
He's on the terrorist watch list and just chilling. Getting trucks off Turo.
That's so this was somebody else's truck? That's what it was?
I saw something on Twitter about a Turo truck, but the community notes was somebody was going around saying like he was like an illegal immigrant who just crossed the southern border like 2 days ago and rented the truck from Turo, and I think they said like somebody else rented the truck on Turo and it wasn't him.
But again, there's all kind of conspiracy theories because, and I generally think they should just be honest. The fact that they had to hide the flag, why even do that? It made no sense to me. Like that would just get people to think more about it. People are gonna be like, "Oh, why would they do that?"
Yeah, I mean, Senator John Kennedy is going like, "I expect full cooperation from all aspect of the government."
Yep, we'll see. There's gonna be more coming out, but let's go to the lady, a congresswoman,
Congressman Kay. What's her last name? Congressman Kay Granger.
Granger,
yeah, 81, who went AWOL from Congress for 6 months, missed a bunch of votes, like just disappeared out of Congress. Newspaper finally tracked her down. She's living in a memory care home for dementia patients. 81 years old, sitting congressman.
Right.
In the dementia ward. I mean, I guess, thank God she's not actually out there voting on bills.
Right.
I mean, the astute will notice that 81 is how old Joe Biden is also.
Oh, the astute would notice. That's
again,
hilarious.
not to be conspiratorial, but
right.
81 seems to be a bad year for dementia in the U.S.
Oh my God. But what is it? Yeah, her kid was saying like, no, okay, I moved her there, okay, she's not in some memory place.
It's
she's
not
in a
dementia
condo.
care.
She's in a condo, No,
it's assisted living. Yeah, for dementia patients. Like, this is what's wrong with the U.S. Like, these 81-year-olds, she's been in the Congress for a while now.
Since 1997.
Yeah, like Trump's up here talking about we need term limits.
We need term limits.
75% of Congress would be out on their ass if Trump's term limits actually got passed. The situation is so dire, AOC is talking about a ban on insider trading. Not surprising from her, but, still, like, yeah, that's what's wrong with the Congress. Like, 81-year-olds in memory care.
That's crazy. I can't believe there's some clause to where it would stop them. I mean, she's representing people, so who's representing these people?
Yeah, like, we only have 435 representatives. Like, you're stealing representation from, like, 400,000 Americans.
I think they were saying, like, she represented, like, 2 million people?
Yeah.
Like, how was that okay?
Yeah, I don't know which district she is, but...
I think the end of the article was saying that they're getting paid until January the 3rd or something, her staffs.
Yeah. I mean, she's making $174,000 a year.
Oh.
In memory care. The representatives have representatives. That's who's really pulling the strings.
Oh my God.
I mean, look at Jasmine Crockett of Dallas.
Yeah.
Like, she was born in St. Louis. She carpetbagged down to Dallas. Like, that's actually an appropriate use of the term carpetbagger.
Yeah, that
A
word.
northerner who moved south for political gain.
The word just sounds so funny.
Yeah.
Carpetbagger.
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 Literal carpetbagger. I mean, she talks absolute nonsense nonstop.
Mm-hmm.
She'll get reelected by a landslide.
Yeah, so
She represents Dallas very well.
See-
Robert Byrd of West Virginia, longest serving either senator or representative. I think he was a senator. Don't quote me.
Mm-hmm.
He was from West Virginia. I mean, he was in there for 40, 50 years. Right? I mean, he was the longest serving one ever. Democrat,
Mhm.
West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Former imperial wizard of the Ku Klux Klan.
What?
Yeah, he was a Ku Klux Klan leader. Robert Byrd. Yeah, senator. Born in 1917, died in 2010. So he was 92 years old when he died.
How long was he in Congress?
Senator for West Virginia for 51 years from
Oh my
1959
God.
until his death in 2010. A Democrat, he also served as a U.S. representative for 6 years from 1953 to 59.
Whoa.
Longest serving member in the Senate history, longest serving member in the history of Congress.
Wow.
Yeah, and yeah, he was Ku Klux Klan ties.
Yeah, sounds
In the
about
early
right.
40s, he recruited 150 of his friends and associates to create a new chapter of the Ku Klux Klan in Sophia, West Virginia.
He recruited.
Yeah,
he started it.
Yeah, like, he was high up leadership. He was a recruiter for the chapter. Like, he was the fucking Imperial Dragon. The Grand Wizard. He won in a
Okay.
landslide. Like, you know how you are, like, you know how well you know the sun's going to rise in the east tomorrow?
Yeah.
That's how you knew West Virginia was going to send Robert Byrd back to the Congress. It's a sure thing. Like, if you look at this guy, you'd be like, oh, he's a Grand Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan? That makes, like, does that guy not look like the Imperial Wizard?
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's what's in the Congress. Like, dementia patients, Imperial Dragons of the Ku Klux Klan, Mitch McConnell,
yeah.
Bernie Sanders, AOC,
Yeah, it's complete joke. It's
Mike
complete joke.
Johnson.
I see Mike is getting it now. You know, people are really turning on Mike.
Yeah, he went from MAGA good, MAGA bad, Trump's like, no, Johnson's the guy for me.
Anything else to add before we close this out?
Just the thought of a dementia patient in the Congress. I haven't seen Kay in a while. Where's she been? The newspaper finds her at a memory care unit.
I like how they said
The newspaper tracked her down.
Yeah. Oh,
Nobody would
lost
say where she was.
Congresswoman. He's a lost Congresswoman found.
Found. Can the rest of them get lost?
Oh my God. All right. We're gonna wrap it up. We'll see you guys next week.